Welcome, welcome! It's my dog with the TexasSpaceNavy bringing you another Star Citizen video. And today we're going to be talking all about 3.13. What my experience is so far, what your experience is so far. We'll go over the features, we'll go over the bugs that are known and some that might not be known. Some of them are pretty big, actually. So let's go ahead and delve right in, shall we? So, let's talk first about some of the features that are in the patch. If you want to talk about new features, we've got hull degradation. So they've introduced some wear and tear on hulls. So the longer you're flying your ship around without refueling, rearming, repairing, etc., you will start to see some buildup on it, or some scratches or dirt or whatever the atmosphere environment that you've been in the most. It'll start building up on your ship. One of the things is the windshield degradation. That has been a hot topic. We'll go a little bit more into it, but to say the least, it will be annoying because it makes it almost impossible to see out your front windshield whenever it starts to degrade. So make sure you're repairing your ship fairly often, so that you will clear some of that wear and tear off of it. So vehicle names and serial numbers, as you saw in the opener, vehicle names are here, at least on some vehicles or some ships. I believe we've got the 600 series, there's the Reclaimer, the Carrack, then there's the 890 Jump, the Hammerhead, the Mercury Star Runner. So all those ships have the capability of being named right now. So really cool little feature that everybody's looking forward to, I believe, and a lot of people have already reserved their names. If you haven't yet and you have one of those ships, go on to your hangar page and click on one of those ships that you have, and you should be able to name it now. Next thing we have is ship-to-ship docking version 1. This should be more like Tier 0. It doesn't work fantastically. Manually, it really doesn't work. I mean, I'm sure somebody's going to say, oh, I got it to work. Well, you are the 0.0001% of the population that have got manually docking working. The automatic docking works, but it snaps to quite easily. So it's very violent. It doesn't work as it should. But again, this is first tier or first version of ship-to-ship docking, so it isn't perfect. That's the best way to put it. These are used on the Constellation. Those Constellation series of ships have the capability of docking the Merlin or the Archimedes. So you're talking about the Andromeda, the Aquila, the Phoenix and the Phoenix Emerald. They all have that capability, and again, it's not the greatest. Reputation UI implementation. So now you'll be able to track your reputation right on the Mobiglass app. It's called Delphi, and it'll keep up with who you have what kind of reputation with, and that will change as you progress in the game. So if you do more missions that are bounty hunter related, then you're probably going to get in with, Blackjack Security, Crusader Security, those Hurston Security. Those guys will favor you a lot more, whereas the Outlaws will start to disfavor you. Object push and pull. So you can push and pull trolleys. You might kill somebody doing it. We'll get into that a little bit later as well, but they have put the first push and pull mechanics in the game, and I do expect them to do a version 2 of this. They're going to expound upon it. They're going to make it a lot more interesting than what it is right now. You're probably not even going to do it just unless it's for crafts and giggles right now in the game. Just putting that out there for you. Mounted gun aiming Tier 0. So they are expanding on the player's arsenal by allowing them to mount a gun either on the vehicle or on the ground. Weapons will offer greater firepower and stability at the cost of mobility. With the initial implementation, players can find these scattered about or scattered around junk sites and underground facilities. So you can't actually mount your own weapons. You're going to find weapons that are already mounted, and you'll be able to use those by interacting with them. Ships and vehicles. So they added the Cyclone MT, which I will do a breakdown on in a very near future video. There's also the Grey Cat Rock DS, which I will also do a rundown of that ship, or vehicle rather, as well. Both of them are pretty awesome looking. The MT is really cool looking in the game, and you will see that a little bit maybe in one of these videos, or in this video, but I will do an actual rundown on it coming up. So, feature updates, things that they are updating. They updated the character customization option with new eye color choices. Locations, they now have cave entrances that you can drive in, and sinkholes. So, pretty neat, but they are a bit treacherous. I think they're probably worse shape now than in the last PTU I tested. So that's saying something. New asteroids. So they replaced the old asteroids with the new versions of them, which I have showed off in the past. Very much needed and very cool. I like what they've done with some of the asteroids. So they've also done refinery station non-commercial room overlays. So a refinery station, when you get to one, it no longer looks like a rest and relax location, and it looks more like an industrial location, which is the way it should be. I mean, yes, it should have rest and relax, venues within it, but it's a grittier station. It's where they do a lot of refining and stuff, so it should look and feel more like a refinery station, more like an industrial station. The Stanton system polish, which included visual improvements for all of the planets and moons and different parts of the Stanton system, and it is very pretty, especially on the planets, how they've visually been improved. So definitely check that out, and you can look at some of that in this video as well. The Dingus Root Harvestable. So they now have an additional harvestable that you can get around the coastlines of Hurston. Actually, I don't know if you can actually harvest it. I'll have to try that out in a future video. Force Reactions Tier 2. So Force Reactions was always a cool thing when they first put it in, and it's still pretty cool the way that it works. And some of our guys experienced that on the negative side when I was making this video yesterday during our TexasSpaceNavy org event night. And when I got near Crusader, you fly near the gravity well of Crusader and people die on ships. It's sad, it's unfortunate, and it's still a bug from a previous version of the game. So you definitely need to beware. If you're not sitting in a seat and you fly next to Crusader on a quantum jump, then you're going to have some people die. So keep that in mind. Shields version 2. They have the signed distance fields in the game. They do look really nice, and they make covering some of those shield holes a lot better, though they did have to do a hotfix on some shield holes as well. Mining components. So they now have subcomponents for specific lasers, or for jobs that you're going to use with different lasers that will help you in the mining process, which I will try to do a video of some on that. I don't use a lot of the extras for mining because I'm not a full-time miner, but there definitely are those guys out there that they love doing the mining, and they could tell you anything and everything you wanted to know about the mining lasers and the components and stuff. Law system improvements. So they've made a few different improvements to law, though as far as I know, surrendering is still not in. Though Port Olisar has become the Wild West from what I hear. I even had one of my workmates go there, and there was 20 Idrises there from the UEE Navy just sitting and waiting for bounties to take out. Quantum sensitive cargo delivery missions. So this is a lot like what we experienced during the event in January, where you put these cargo boxes in your ship, and you have to manually fly to your destination. You cannot quantum because it'll explode. Timed multi-delivery missions. These are also in the game now, so you'll be able to do, you know, your deliveries, but they'll be timed on what they do. So it's like any other delivery mission, but they have a timer. You have to get there by a certain time to get the money. And then they have the FPS missions in caves where there's assassination missions and all that. I will try to bring some of that to you as well. The cave bounties or the assassinations should be a lot of fun if the cave systems aren't, you know, a little broke, kind of like they are right now. They have the updated bounty missions, updated mission descriptions, griefing prevention. So they updated the law system to prevent griefing where players position themselves over a ship taking off or under a vehicle landing. Interesting that that's there, but I may have to test that out just to see how it works. Turret accuracy. So they increased the accuracy of all AI size 6 and size 10 turrets around rest stops and space stations. So they mean business. Ships and vehicles. Of course, we got the Aegis Gladius visual updates. We also have increased Terrapin base health, which that's all going to go away when physicalized damage and stuff comes in. Smooth ramp collision. So ramps are now better when you're on planets. Something to look forward to there. The turret clipping has been fixed. Esprit Prowler pricing has increased in game, which it should have. Vehicles have been added to the shops, such as the Star Runner, the Talon Shrike, and the Nomad. And weapons and items like the med pin is now equipable instead of just double pressing C and you know, using it. Now you'll actually equip it, and then you can use it on yourself, and eventually you'll be able to use it on somebody else. They added a Drake Buccaneer spinal mount turret to the in-game shop. Cortec, the Toby eye tracker improvement has been implemented, and user folder location change. So that's important if you guys are saving your if you're trying to save your binds, your key binds and stuff. You'll definitely want to go back and look at where the user folder is in the new version of the game. It's a totally different place, so you definitely need to, you know, check that out if you transfer your binds by copying and pasting. It's just going to be in a completely different spot. So let's go into kind of, you know, Tarantinoing this one. Let's go into the actual, you know, patch notes for known issues now. So known issues. Bed logout may cause an infinite loading screen when rejoining the PU. Don't log out in your bed. Could be a serious problem. You may have to reset your character to fix it. Keep that in your back of your mind if you're thinking about logging out in your bed. So make it to a station and then log out. Picking up a weapon on the floor can break some animations such as leaning, crouching, and jumping. I will have to try that. Haven't experienced it yet. Abnormally long delay between pickup, storing, and FPS minables, harvestables items. So picking up items is a no-no. It's tough. It's rough. It's going to cause some problems. Client may crash when loading a second player into the server in Arena Commander. Go in together. Cannot refuel or rearm at New Babbage. Services claim to be unavailable. So yeah, you're not going to rearm there. You might want to go up to Tressler or even to one of the bases on the moons around New Babbage. Players may not be able to quantum jump with another player in bridge with you. Okay, so I experienced this yesterday. I tried to quantum jump with a full crew on my 600i, and we weren't able to do it. But a workaround that we found was to make sure that the player that's piloting is not part of the party, and they'll be able to get you where you need to go. Just make sure you're seated if you go near Crusader. The customization nameplates do not appear to be visible on multiple ship skins and variants. I have not experienced this one yet, but I do have multiple ship skins and variants that I would like to test it on to see if it's showing up or not. So future video on that one. Landing pads. Trolleys are unable to be pushed, pulled up the entryway or cargo ramp or elevator ramps. So again, this is a major issue. You can end up killing somebody or yourself with these trolleys. Don't try to get them on your ships just yet. It's still broken. Maybe they'll have that fixed in 3.13.1. Constellation can despawn when flying 30 kilometers away after undocking. Okay, so this isn't just a Connie issue. This is pretty much a lot of ships' issue that will despawn. We also experienced this yesterday. Keep in mind you can only have 3 ships or vehicles spawned at a time. When you spawn that 4th one, one of them are going to disappear. It's usually the first one you brought. So you cannot have more than 3 at a time, and I'm sure this is for server stability to keep things rocking and rolling. Docking with moving ship lags behind, causing a large snap into the docking position, which I already mentioned is something that is a problem. Wallace Kim can spawn away from his table, facing the wrong way and floating. That's a little freaky, because Wallace Kim himself is a little freaky. Trolleys found in Area 18 hangars are clipping through the floor, removing functionality. Players can spawn facing the wrong way at the start of a match or after dying in Arena Commander. Just keep that one in mind if you're doing a lot of Arena Commander. The Eclipse spawns with a cockpit canopy ladder open in the ladder and cover enter-exit animation broken. So one of my org mates experienced this last night with the Eclipse. It's very annoying for that bug to be there. Elevators at Grimhex fail to complete animations, and elevator can lose functionality. Beware of Grimhex. Be careful at Grimhex. You might get stuck. Placing boxes on a ship lifts is not possible. So you can't leave it on a ramp, or like the 600i has 2 lifts. It's got the big cargo bay lift and where the passengers can go up towards the bridge. So you can't place a box on one of those lifts. So just keep it in your hands if you're having to use those and travel with it up. Chat HUD is partially off screen when using ultra wide resolutions. Not just ultra wide, super ultra wide. It is crazy, it is annoying, and it is kind of interesting at the same time. Hopefully they get that fixed in future iterations. But guys, that's all I have for you on 3.13 as far as the patch notes. My first take on it is, ouch. It was very hard for me to get into the game. I couldn't bring you guys content because I had been blocked from getting on or connecting to the equipment loadout server. This is a known bug. It's not in the patch notes, but they did block certain users, certain players from the loadout server, the equipment loadout server, because they had a Moby-Glass bug at one point or another. That Moby-Glass bug is like the one that also takes your head off. So it makes life very difficult and darn near impossible. So to even give us a chance to play, they blocked us from that server. And quite frankly, it was very difficult to play the game when you ran around in just your original flight suit. So that is not really an issue right now. I was able to connect to the equipment loadout server last night, and now not all my equipment was there, and some folks are experiencing losing their pants. Yes, of all bugs, they will lose whatever they have on their legs as armor. So let me know if you're experiencing that bug or the bug I had. Let me know what other bugs you might be experiencing in 3.13 in the comments down below. Thank you all for tuning in. I know this is kind of a long video, but I do appreciate you guys tuning in to watch it. I'm Muddog with the Texas Space Navy, and I'll see you out in the verse.